Welcome back to the channel where coins aren't just money. They're hidden treasures, stories from the past, and in some cases, million-dollar surprises. Rarest coins. Today, we're unlocking the mystery of one particular coin that's caught the attention of collectors, investors, and everyday people alike, the 1967 Washington quarter dollar. Most people think of it as just another quarter, but there's one version of this coin out there that's rumored to be worth up to $1.8 million. That's right. Just 25 cents in face value, but potentially a life-changing windfall for someone lucky enough to find it. To understand why this coin can be worth so much, we need to go back to the basics, to the year 1967 and the United States Mint. At the time, America was experiencing a major coin shortage. Silver prices were rising, and people had begun hoarding coins made of silver. So the U.S. Mint made a bold move. In 1965, they removed silver from dimes and quarters completely and began producing them from a copper-nickel-clad composition instead. The 1967 Washington quarter was part of this new generation of coins. It was no longer made with any silver, unlike quarters before 1965, and it was struck in massive numbers to combat the shortage and keep coins in circulation. But 1967 was also a unique year in another way. To prevent coin collectors from hoarding new issues and worsening the shortage, the Mint made the decision not to use any mint marks that year. That means whether the coin was made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, you won't see any letter like D or S on the coin. Every 1967 quarter looks the same on the surface, no mint mark, copper nickel clad, and the familiar design featuring George Washington on the front and the eagle on the back. Over 1.5 billion quarters were produced that year. So you might be asking, with so many in circulation, how could one be worth $1.8 million? This is where it gets interesting. Not every coin is created equal. A few rare pieces escape the minting process with extreme errors or under mysterious conditions, and those coins are the ones collectors are willing to pay insane amounts of money for. There have been reports of a 1967 Washington quarter that was mistakenly struck on a silver planchet, which shouldn't have happened at all, because silver quarters were officially discontinued 2 years earlier. This type of error is called a transitional error. It means a leftover silver blank from a previous minting year accidentally got used during production. And if one of those errors has survived in excellent condition, that's the kind of coin that could fetch over $1 million at auction. Some of these quarters have also shown signs of being struck on foreign planchets or blanks intended for coins from other countries. If the size, weight, or metal composition is off, and it's proven to be a legitimate minting error, that coin's value jumps significantly. Combine that with near-perfect condition, meaning the coin has no wear and has been preserved exactly as it left the mint, and you have a recipe for $1 million discovery. Some rare 1967 quarters graded by professional services, like PCGS at ultra-high mint state levels, such as MS-68 or above, have already sold for thousands. But a one-of-a-kind error in that grade? That's where the speculation of a $1.8 million value comes from. Now let's talk about what you should be looking for. If you're going through your spare change or an old coin collection, keep an eye out for a 1967 quarter that looks off. Check the weight. A standard 1967 quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If it weighs significantly more or less, you might have something special. Look at the edges. A copper nickel-clad coin usually shows a visible copper stripe along the edge. If that stripe is missing or the coin has the sheen of silver, you could be holding a transitional error. Also examine the coin for doubling, off-center strikes, or any unusual surface features. But here's the most important thing: don't clean the coin. Even if it looks dirty or tarnished, cleaning can drastically lower its value. Leave it as is and get it checked out by a reputable coin dealer or grading service. if it turns out to be a verified mint error, and especially if it's unique or nearly flawless, you could be looking at a life-changing payday. So why is this coin, a simple 1967 quarter, so fascinating? Because it proves that even in the most ordinary places, your change jar, your couch cushions, your grandparents' coin stash, there could be something rare, valuable, and historically significant hiding in plain sight. The beauty of coin collecting is that it's not just for the wealthy or the experts. Anyone can stumble upon something extraordinary. That 1967 Washington quarter, the one surrounded by myths and whispers in the numismatic world, is still out there. Maybe it's already been found and quietly sold to a private collector. Or maybe it's sitting unnoticed in a drawer somewhere, waiting to be discovered. What makes it so legendary is not just its value, but the mystery and the possibility. That's what keeps collectors searching, dealers hunting, and people checking every quarter that passes through their hands. Thanks for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden value of the 1967 Washington quarter, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. Share this video with your friends and family. You never know who might have that $1 million coin sitting at home. And if you've ever found an unusual quarter or want to know what your coins might be worth, drop a comment below. I read every one. Until next time, keep looking, keep learning, and keep checking your change. Because sometimes, 25 cents is worth far more than anyone ever imagined. Let me know if you'd like help turning this into a storyboard, adding voiceover pacing cues, or including visual suggestions for video editing. Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins, where we dive into the stories behind the coins in your pocket and how some of them can be worth a fortune. Today, we're exploring one of the most unexpected jackpot coins out there, the 1998 Washington quarter dollar. Believe it or not, this common-looking coin could potentially be worth up to $1.3 million in extremely rare circumstances. That's right. A coin you might overlook in your change could be a life-changer. Let's start with a little background. The Washington quarter has been a mainstay in American currency since 1932. It was first issued to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, and its design, featuring a bust of Washington on the obverse, has remained largely unchanged for decades. The reverse side of the coin, up until 1998, featured an eagle with outstretched wings, standing on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below, symbolizing both military readiness and a desire for peace. Now, let's zoom in on the year 1998. This was the final year the classic eagle reverse design was minted before the United States Mint launched the 50-state quarters program in 1999. That program introduced new reverse designs representing each of the 50 states, and it became one of the most successful coin programs in U.S. history. So, the 1998 Washington quarter marked the end of an era and the beginning of something new. The P mint mark indicates that the coin was minted in Philadelphia. In 1998, over 896 million quarters were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which means this isn't a rare coin in terms of mintage. You can find 1998 quarters in circulation today. Most of them are worth just 25 cents, maybe slightly more in uncirculated condition, maybe a few dollars at most. So why are we talking about a $1.3 million quarter? Here's where things get fascinating. That kind of value doesn't come from the standard issue coins. Instead, it comes from an extremely rare error coin or a coin with a one-of-a-kind anomaly, something that happened at the minting level that makes the coin unique. And in the case of the 1998 Washington quarter, the $1 million variety is believed to be tied to a mule error. A mule error occurs when two dies that weren't meant to be paired together are accidentally used to strike a coin. For example, one of the most famous mule coins features the obverse of a Washington quarter and the reverse of a Sacagawea dollar. That kind of error is incredibly rare and valuable. One such mule sold for nearly $200,000, and others have been estimated at much higher values depending on the condition and rarity. So imagine a quarter with a misprinted reverse or struck on the wrong planchet. If one of those error coins is proven to exist from the 1998 P issue, say, a transitional error involving the new reverse design intended for the state quarters or even an entirely different denomination, then that could skyrocket its value. There's been speculation and rumors of one such coin existing. A 1998 P quarter with an experimental reverse design or struck on a dollar planchet. That coin, if authenticated and confirmed as a unique error never before seen, could draw huge attention from collectors and investors. Some reports suggest a coin like this may have sold or been estimated in private transactions at over $1.3 million. That's the kind of coin that doesn't just sit in a collector's case, it becomes part of numismatic history. But even if you don't have the $1 million version, the 1998 P quarter can still be worth checking out. High-grade uncirculated coins, especially those graded MS67 and above, can fetch anywhere from $50 to several $100s depending on demand and quality. Proof versions, struck in San Francisco with a mirror-like finish, are also sought after, especially if they're still in original packaging or graded PR69 or PR70 by a major grading service like PCGS or NGC. If you're looking through your pocket change, here are a few things to keep in mind. Check for any signs of doubling, off-center strikes, wrong metal composition, or mismatched designs. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. If you spot something unusual, don't clean the coin. That can ruin its value. Instead, take it to a reputable coin dealer or have it professionally graded. It could be worth far more than you think. The fascinating thing about coins like the 1998 P Washington quarter is that they remind us that history, art, and mystery can all be found in the everyday objects we carry around without a second thought. Who knows, your next handful of change might hold a piece of history worth over $1 million. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of rare coins and unexpected treasures. Drop a comment below if you've ever come across a strange coin or if you're curious about the value of something in your collection. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your change close. You never know what you might find. Let me know if you'd like this converted to a voiceover script, include visual suggestions, or optimize it for a short-form reel or. Welcome back to the channel, where everyday coins become extraordinary stories. Today we're diving into one of the most exciting discoveries in the world of coin collecting, a Washington quarter from 1995, specifically the 1995 D that some collectors believe could be worth as much as $1.4 million. That's right. A coin that was once just loose change in someone's pocket could now be a literal treasure. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been a cornerstone of U.S. coinage since 1932. It was introduced to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the nation's first president, and over the years it became one of the most widely circulated coins in the United States. The front, or obverse, of the coin features a profile portrait of Washington himself, while the reverse side, up until 1998, displayed an eagle perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength and peace. Now let's talk about the 1995 D Washington quarter specifically. The D stands for the Denver Mint, which produced hundreds of millions of these quarters that year. In fact, more than 1.1 billion quarters were minted in Denver in 1995 alone. That's a massive number, and it means that on the surface, this coin seems very common. So how does a coin like that suddenly jump to a value of over $1 million? The answer lies in something that makes collectors go wild: rare minting errors and unexplained anomalies. Among the vast sea of regular 1995 D quarters, It's believed that a microscopic handful were struck with such rare and unusual characteristics that they have become almost mythical in the world of numismatics. Coins like this don't appear in coin rolls or circulation very often. They're usually discovered by accident, and sometimes, when they do show up, their rarity makes headlines. There's talk of one specific 1995 Washington quarter that was struck on the wrong planchet, possibly on one intended for a foreign coin or even a different U.S. denomination like a dime or dollar. Imagine that, a quarter struck on a golden-colored planchet or with a completely different size or weight. If authenticated, coins like this are considered mint errors of the highest level, and their value can skyrocket. One of the key reasons this coin has been estimated at over $1.4 million is due to its reported one-of-a-kind status. When a coin is not just rare but truly unique, a known population of just one, its value enters a whole new category. High-grade condition is another factor. Coins graded MS-68 or MS-69, which means they are in nearly flawless condition straight from the mint, already fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars. But combine that with a once-in-a-lifetime mint error, and you've got a recipe for $1 million coin. Let's break this down. If you were to stumble upon a 1995 quarter with a double die obverse, off-center strike, wrong metal composition, or mismatched design, especially one that has been confirmed by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC, that coin could be worth tens of thousands on its own. But add in a one-off error or a transitional strike with an unexpected design element, and the value could rise exponentially. That's where we get the whispers and rumors of a 1995 quarter reaching a value of $1.4 million in private sales. Now, let's be clear. Not every 1995 quarter is worth big money. The vast majority of them are still worth only face value, 25 cents. Some in uncirculated condition might be worth $5 to $10, maybe a bit more if they've been well preserved in original mint sets. But for those rare error coins, the sky's the limit. That's why collectors and dealers are always on the hunt. It's the thrill of discovering a piece of history that nobody else has. So, what should you be looking for? If you're sifting through pocket change or old coin collections, pay close attention to details. Look for coins that have odd coloring, strange weight, off-center designs, doubled lettering or images, or unusual thickness. If something looks off, don't ignore it. And whatever you do, don't clean the coin. That can significantly reduce its value. Instead, get it evaluated by a professional. Sometimes it takes a trained eye and proper equipment to spot an extremely rare mint error. And remember, the most valuable coins are usually the ones people overlook. A $1.4 million coin could be sitting in a drawer, in a box of old coins passed down from a relative, or even mixed in with your spare change. It only takes one lucky find to change everything. The 1995 Washington quarter is a perfect example of how something ordinary can become extraordinary. It's a reminder that even the most common objects might hold incredible value if you take the time to look closely. Coin collecting is more than just a hobby. It's a treasure hunt, and treasures don't always come in the form of gold bars or ancient relics. Sometimes, they come in the form of a quarter minted in Denver back in 1995. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the mysterious and potentially $1 million 1995 quarter, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about rare coins and hidden gems. Let me know in the comments if you've ever come across an unusual coin, or if there's one in your collection you're curious about. Until next time, keep checking your change. You never know what might be hiding right in your hands. Let me know if you'd like a version optimized for audio, TikTok, short-form clips, or with suggested visuals for each segment. Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins, where spare change becomes serious treasure. Today we're diving into a fascinating story about a Washington quarter that's been in circulation for over 4 decades, but is suddenly making headlines among collectors. We're talking about the 1982 P Washington quarter. On the surface, it looks like just another coin you might find in your pocket or in a jar at home, but there's one version of this coin that has reportedly fetched an astonishing value of $1.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. A coin minted for just 25 cents could potentially be worth well over $1 million. Let's rewind and understand what makes the 1982 P quarter so interesting. First, some history. The Washington quarter has been a staple in American currency since 1932, originally created to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design, featuring Washington's profile on the front and an eagle on the reverse, remained unchanged for decades. But the early 1980s were a turbulent time in the coin world. The U.S. Mint was going through significant changes, especially in 1982. That year, due to rising production costs and budget cuts, the Mint made several important changes. One of the most notable was that the Mint did not produce any official uncirculated mint sets in 1982. That means collectors couldn't buy the typical sets of pristine coins directly from the Mint as they had in previous years. As a result, high-quality 1982 coins, especially those that remained uncirculated, became much harder to find. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 500 million Washington quarters in 1982, and those coins bear the P Mint mark, which had only recently started appearing again after being absent for decades. Now here's where things get very interesting. With no mint sets and a heavy production year, most of the 1982 P quarters were circulated heavily. That means very few remained in excellent, mint state condition. In fact, even today, it's incredibly rare to find a 1982 P quarter in near-perfect condition, especially those graded MS67 or higher. But the big story, the one that collectors dream about, revolves around a mysterious 1982 P quarter with an error so rare, it's believed to be one of a kind. This specific coin, which has been talked about in collector circles and auction records, reportedly contains a striking error, possibly a transitional planchet error or a wrong metal composition, combined with near-perfect strike quality. It could have been struck on a leftover silver or foreign planchet, or might feature ultra-rare die characteristics that set it apart. It's the kind of coin that slips through the cracks at the Mint and, if preserved well, becomes legendary. According to reports, one such 1982 P quarter was sold in a private transaction for around $1.2 million due to its unique error and pristine condition. While this price may seem unbelievable to someone outside the numismatic world, in the world of rare coin collecting, uniqueness drives value. When a coin is the only known example of a specific minting mistake, it becomes a target for serious collectors who want a piece of history that no one else has. Even beyond the million-dollar story, regular 1982 P quarters in high grades are already valuable. Because of the lack of uncirculated sets and the typically poor strike quality from the Mint that year, most of these coins have significant flaws. But when you find one that's clean, crisp, and untouched, those can easily sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition. An MS67 or MS68 graded 1982 P quarter, if found, would be extremely rare and could be worth a small fortune on its own.so. What should you be looking for? First, check the coin's surface. Does it have full, clean details? Is the lettering sharp and well-defined? Next, check for any strange features. A different color, odd weight, weak strike, off-center design, or any doubling in the letters or numbers. One of the more talked about varieties involves a weak strike and missing details, which may not be technically an error, but can still increase value due to the nature of the 1982 Mint issues. If your 1982 P quarter seems unusually well struck for its year, or if it has any peculiarities, it could be worth having it professionally graded. The best part about coins like the 1982 p quarter, is that they prove you don't need to be rich to find a treasure. You don't need to dig for gold or buy expensive antiques. Sometimes, the most valuable items are sitting in plain sight, in your car's cup holder, in your kitchen drawer, or among the spare change at the bottom of your backpack. That's the magic of coin collecting. It turns everyday objects into pieces of history, and sometimes into million-dollar paydays. So don't ignore those older quarters. Every time you get change at a store or sort through an old coin jar, take a moment and check. Especially if you see the date 1982 and a small P mint mark above the R in the word quarter. That coin might look common, but in the right condition, with the right error or strike, it could be worth thousands. And if you get extremely lucky, you might just find the next million-dollar quarter that everyone's been talking about. Thanks for watching. If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more incredible stories from the world of rare coins. Have you ever found an unusual 1982 quarter? Or do you have a coin you want to know more about? Drop a comment below. I love reading your stories and helping you figure out what your coins might be worth. Until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and keep looking closely at your change. You never know when a small coin might change your life. Let me know if you'd like me to adapt this script for a short-form video, add timestamps or visuals, or turn it into a voiceover-friendly format.